This institution impacts thousands of lives every year. I want to spend my time with an organization involved in something that makes a difference, because the students that leave JMU will become tomorrow's citizens. They will shape the world. They'll be responsible for improving lives. Being involved at JMU makes me feel like I'm doing something that really impacts the lives of other people. That's why it's important to me.
I think at JMU she felt cared about, and she really valued that, and that was one of the reasons she wanted to get back. She thought that importance and the value that was placed on community was really special, and what really set JMU apart in a lot of ways.
I think Leslie knew from her own experience at James Madison that the faculty-student relationship was really important, and that personal touch is something that we really care about and foster at this university. It was clear that it had an impact on her as a student, and she never forgot that. And she herself brought that personal touch to her work with all of us. She cared about us, she cared about what we were doing, and she certainly cared about our students and faculty of today. And she always took the time to develop those personal relationships, even as she was spending so much time at meetings and as a board member.
She wanted us to make sure that we were doing things that were going to have an impact on the students here at the university today and those that will be here, many years down the road. And so everything she did, from the Board of Visitors to the Women for Madison Advisory Council to being involved in the other colleges around campus, really was about the impact that it was going to have on the students.
It was very clear in interacting with Leslie that JMU meant a great deal to her personally, that it was a big part of her life, and I think that's why she devoted so much of her time and talent and treasure to this university. One thing that really has always stood out for me is the way that Leslie interacted with students. She loved spending time around students, listening to them, hearing about their hopes and dreams for the future, and it always seemed to energize Leslie.
And you could see her light up, because this is exactly what she was wanting, was that to show the impact. I think that's what I remember Leslie and the time I had with her. It was those times in our meetings where afterwards she would just be beaming. Wasn't that fantastic? That was so great. This is what we need to continue to do. We need to bring in more students. Let's hear more what the students are doing and how a scholarship has impacted them. She loved that.
I really think that it was like how down to earth she was allowed her to connect with people and be comfortable with all people, which was really special.
To work with Leslie on Women for Madison was truly inspirational. She's a remarkable person. She was eloquent, warm, captivating. She loved to always refer to Dolly Madison as we talked about defining our mission and our vision. And what would our core values be?
I can remember working with Leslie, and when we were first talking about this concept of Women for Madison, and I think I came up with this idea for a vision statement, and Leslie says, "That's it, I like it, go with it," and then it was, well, we need a chair for the Women for Madison Advisory Council, and it's like, Vanessa would be great, go do it. Her energy made you have that same kind of energy and enthusiasm, and her passion, it made you want to continue to do things.
What Women for Madison has done is it's allowed us to think about developing that culture of philanthropy, to recognize that magic won't just happen without the full support and participation of real people who care about Madison, who understand the value of the Madison experience. And Leslie was, of course, a very big part of that, and was one of the visionaries behind the creation of Women for Madison for that reason.
She cared so much about the university and wanted Women for Madison to represent this opportunity when you can bring together women with a common purpose or cause, that great things can happen. We really want to exemplify that in her honor, in her memory.
She cared, and I think that's what we will always remember about Leslie, is that she cared about the people around her, and she cared about making everyone that much better.
She was truly inspiring, you know, I think in many ways, and she's touched so much at this university, and her legacy will continue.
I hope that the entire Gilliam family can look upon this award not just as a recognition of what Leslie has done for James Madison University, but as a reflection of her spirit that will live on for decades to come. It's really meaningful to name an award like the Spirit of Philanthropy for someone like Leslie, who personified what this award is all about. It makes it much more personal and much more real when people can think about the human being behind that name. Someone who cared so deeply about the university, about its people, about its programs, and knew the life-changing impact that a JMU education can have on a student. When people remember Leslie, that's what they're going to think of, and that's what's going to continue to inspire philanthropy for the generations to come.
When, you know, someone really close to you passes away, when your mom passes away, you know, we think about her every day, all the time, but life goes on, and people are going on and doing their own things and continuing to impact the world in great ways, but you often worry that she'll be forgotten. And I think that we sometimes, you know, have that fear that she'll be forgotten. So I think this is an incredible way to just remember her and continue her legacy, and it's really special to us, and we're so grateful and honored, and she would be incredibly honored. We hope that this award will continue to encourage and empower other people at JMU just to live out their lives in the way that my mom lived out her life.